Hi guys, I'm Lauren Vitale. On this episode of Lauren in the Kitchen, I want to show you how to make a prosciutto wrapped roasted chicken piccata. Sounds fancy, it is divine, but so easy and simple to make all in one pan, which we love. Makes a killer sauce that you can serve over angel hair or with some roasted veggies or whatever your heart desires. The point is, it's delicious, it's easy to make, it just takes no time at all, and I love it. So, the ingredients you'll need are not very many, but they're kind of basic ones. What I have here are some boneless, skinless chicken thighs. I've left a little bit of the fat on there for extra flavor, but they are boneless and skinless. A little bit of white wine, I've got Pinot Grigio, some good quality chicken stock. I've got my Italian herb seasoning, a little bit of granulated garlic. This is just some dehydrated garlic, but you can use fresh if you want to. Chopped parsley, capers, tiny bit of butter, lemon juice, and you're gonna need some prosciutto di Parma. Very first thing you want to do is get your oven preheated to 400. I am going to start this dish on the stovetop because I really want to get a good sear on my chicken. I wanted to develop some color right away. So I only have about like a tablespoon or so of light olive oil in my skillet with high sides, and I have that preheating over about medium-high heat. Now, you might have noticed that there is no salt here at all. That's because the prosciutto, since there's so much of it, it's quite salty, and all of its fat is going to render in the sauce, and therefore, because it's wrapped around the chicken, it's going to salt the chicken, and then the juices are going to salt the sauce. If I were to add any additional salt, it would be a little bit too salty. Plus, we have the capers, which are quite salty as well. So I find no need for that. Now I'm using chicken thighs because they're cheap and cheerful, and they're really good. They're juicy, they're tender, they're phenomenal for roasting or if you're braising or anything like that. But if you were to make chicken piccata the more traditional way, which I have a really old episode on, then you would use really thinly sliced chicken breast. But the option is yours. The thing about cooking is, and the thing about being an adult, that you're the boss of your own kitchen. So you do you, boo, and you use whatever chicken your heart desires. That's all I'm saying. Now, this is really easy. All I'm going to do is I'm going to take slices of prosciutto. Now, I'm not very picky. This is what it should look like. I'm not very picky when it comes to things in the kitchen. I mean, I don't require specific things, or I'm just not going to cook. But there is one thing I'm very particular about, and that is the thickness of my prosciutto. I like it, when I order it at the deli counter, I always order it thin but not shaved. It should be just about see-through. If it's really thick, like a 1/4 inch thick, that's not gonna fly with me at all. So you want this to be nice and thin because it's really salty and it can overpower things really quickly. I am just gonna wrap a slice or two, depending on the size of my chicken, around each one. And then if you want to, for security, you can always do one of these. Just do it like that. Just don't forget that it's in there. Made that mistake. These gorgeous babies are ready to go. Now my skillet is nice and hot. What I want is to just sear them, to give them some color and a little bit of texture, but I'm gonna do it sort of pretty side down. Add that right in. And that's only gonna take a couple of minutes, but keep your eye on it because it's only gonna take like a minute on each side, and then you're gonna need to flip them. That looks good enough for me. This is not gonna be cooked all the way through, not at this point anyway. To this, you're pretty much going to add everything in. You start with a little bit of white wine. And if you don't want to use white wine, by all means, just leave it out. You don't have to use it, but it does give you a lovely flavor. A little bit of stock. It looks like a lot of sauce, but it does cook out once you're roasting it for like 25 minutes or so. Then I have some Italian seasoning and some granulated garlic. I like to sprinkle that right over the chicken because now that you've seared it, it sticks really nicely and it almost makes like a nice little crust on top of that prosciutto. It makes like a nice salty crust. You can also put the seasoning in the chicken, between the chicken and the prosciutto. And then you've got your capers, which, you know, well, a few of them just run rolling on the floor, but that's okay. That's okay. We'll get that cleaned up. That's sort of like a traditional piccata flavor for me. Now this is just some dehydrated garlic. You don't have to use it, but I've been kind of obsessed with this. This is the thing about me. I get like little kicks, you know, if I find like a really cool ingredient. I love to sort of like, I kind of go nuts, if I'm honest. So dehydrated garlic is my latest and greatest thing. I found it in a little Italian market, like a little store in the Italian market in Philly. Love it. But of course you can just use regular fresh chopped garlic. Can you tell I'm hungry? hung early some dinner, okay? So it would be really great if I could stop talking and get to finishing. I need a little lemon juice. Of course, it's piccata, so I want the juice of half a lemon, and I can always adjust and add a little bit more at the end. What I don't want is for this to be too lemony at this point. And then a little tiny bit of butter, less than a tablespoon, but that's going to give you a really lovely, luscious sauce. This whole pan is going to go into my oven at 400 around 25 minutes or until my chicken's fully cooked through and the sauce is really nice and delicious and bubbly and yummy, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. Get some side dishes going. This looks phenomenal. Now you can see my sauce has gotten really thick. That's because as it was roasting at 400, it kind of, as you can see over here, if you come really close to the pan, it got lots of little bits right around there. It got almost caramelized, and then as they bubbled together, all that deep, beautiful color kind of released into the sauce, and it thickened, and it's gorgeous. If yours doesn't get as dark as mine, don't worry. That just means my oven's a little bit hotter. So it created those beautiful, like golden brown crusty bits on the sides of the pan, but it will be delicious nonetheless, which is really what's important. Let's add some parsley to this because at this point it does need some freshness. And I'm going to serve myself up a little piece because this is kind of like my pre-dinner snack. So I don't want to look a little bit too. That looks good. I think I only have one toothpick in there. I can't even tell you how many times I've made that mistake. It's like I only have one toothpick in there. And then everybody else going, something is stuck. I'm like, nah, not me, not my fault. Then you take this gorgeousness. Oh, I just love this pan sauce. I just want to drink it. And you spoon it over the top like that. Now you can serve this with angel hair. You can serve it with some roasted veggies. You can serve this for like a lovely get-together, or, you know, around this time of year, there's a lot of entertaining going on, a lot of dinner parties, people coming by unexpectedly. This is something that you can put together in no time at all. It tastes fantastic. It's got such beautiful color. It makes it's kind of like a wow factor to it. All in one pan. I mean, how easy is that? And it's absolutely divine. The smell of this is just heaven to me. It's almost like a mixture between chicken saltimbocca and chicken piccata. They meet, they fall in love, and this gets created, and it's amazing, and you're gonna love it. Let's cut into this, because you can see that the prosciutto is nice and golden brown. Let's see. Oh, juicy chicken. That's what I like, that's what I like. I need that sauce. I need that ladle and that sauce, and we need just to have like a moment alone. That is a money maker and a half. It's so amazing. You'll understand right away why I didn't use any additional salt, because that prosciutto is so lovely and salty. It literally just absolutely seasons everything to perfection without me having to touch a bit of salt whatsoever. One more bite just to make sure. I'm gonna marry this. I'm gonna live happily ever after. Go to laurainthekitchen.com to get the written recipe. I hope that you recreate this. It's so easy and so simple, but so delicious, and it would be even a wonderful main for your holiday table this year. I'm gonna go back to eating because clearly I can't stop myself. Laura in the Kitchen has you covered with the recipe. I will see you next time. Bye.